This is the Washington Times front page for Thursday, May 2nd, 2024. Thanks for joining us. I'm George Gerbo. After the University of Southern California canceled its main commencement this month, pro-Palestinian campus demonstrations are threatening to disrupt other graduations. Sean Salai and Susan Friicchio report the occupations at the University of Michigan, George Washington University, and elsewhere have prompted administrators to ramp up security to keep protests from spilling over into graduations this month. Protesters at Columbia, Morehouse, and the University of Vermont have threatened to disrupt commencement unless their schools rescind invitations for President Biden and members of his administration to address graduates. They cite the president's support for Israel's war against Hamas, which they call genocidal to Palestinians. Data from the conservative-leaning Capital Research Center shows that some groups supporting the campus protests are linked to groups that harbor pro-Hamas messaging, among them the U.S. Campaign for Palestinian Rights. Protesters insist the demonstrations are not anti-Jewish. A new think tank report claims Wall Street firm BlackRock is investing millions of dollars in an estimated 30 Chinese companies currently sanctioned by the U.S. government. Bill Gertz reports the nonprofit Coalition for a Prosperous America says BlackRock has invested nearly $50 million in Chinese companies sanctioned under the 2022 Uyghur Forced Labor Prevention Act. The act became a law in response to what the State Department called China's policy of genocide against minority Uyghurs. BlackRock became the first global asset manager allowed to operate a wholly owned mutual fund business in China in 2021. Newly uncovered federal data shows South Florida is the top destination for unauthorized migrants coming to the United States under the Biden administration's parole program. Of the roughly 200,000 who arrived from January through August last year under the program, Stephen Dinan reports roughly 75% traveled to airports in Miami and Fort Lauderdale. The program allows would-be migrants from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela to fly directly to America. The migrants are said to enter the U.S. lawfully because they were given parole. The list had been previously secret, but the House Homeland Security Committee had threatened a subpoena before the Department of Homeland Security relinquished the numbers. And finally, a report made public by the House Coronavirus Subcommittee says the virus research group EcoHealth Alliance was engaged in experimental virus work in China funded by the federal government. Bill Gertz reports Subcommittee Chairman Brad Wenstrup said EcoHealth and its president Peter Daszak are bad actors and should be banned from receiving federal funds. Daszak estimated the company receives $16 million annually in federal funds. He insisted all of EcoHealth's work in China was aimed at halting pandemics. Find all of today's front page stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page or on the Washington Times app, and find us wherever you get your podcasts. You can also find us on social media at Wash Times for breaking news, sports, commentary, and more. For the Washington Times, I'm George Gerbo.